We start with NBC's Antonia Hilton, who's back again today outside Columbia University, and NBC's Steve Patterson is on the UCLA campus. Antonia, the NYPD will remain on campus past graduation. How are students reacting to their presence and everything that went down last night?
Hey, Ryan. Students today are telling me that they're extremely disturbed by what they saw transpire last night, that they felt the response was disproportionate, even if not surprising. Students described seeing many of their classmates get arrested, even students who had nothing to do with what happened in Hamilton Hall, but who were shouting at the NYPD or trying to protest around the streets surrounding Columbia or on the Morningside campus, which is right behind me here. And in some ways, they have seen this as traumatizing. That's a word that has come up several times, going back to April 18th, when the NYPD first entered and arrested about 100 students here. And, you know, the other challenge that people saw was just simply moving around the area. There were kids who described being barricaded by the NYPD in dorm rooms so that they couldn't move to different areas of campus. They couldn't go to sleep if they were in the wrong dorm room and couldn't reach their own bedrooms. Student reporters described at times being unable to reach their own studios to keep doing their work, covering what was happening on their own campus. And so students on all sides of this issue, including students who haven't necessarily been supportive of pro-Palestinian protests here on campus, you know, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who found it exciting or positive to see the NYPD here. There's this feeling that even if the protests are over, the encampment is gone, Hamilton Hall behind me is clear now, Ryan, that the tension is still very much present, and it's hard to get back to business as usual and to look forward to graduation, which is coming on May 15th, when so much of the community is facing disciplinary action, court summonses, and more broadly, just pain associated with all of the conflict here that's transpired these last few weeks, Ryan.
All right, Antonia, thank you for that. Let's go to Steve now on the West Coast, where the Los Angeles Police Department is being criticized for their response last night. Steve, tell us what happened and how are students responding today?
Ryan, I think there's this lingering residue, equal parts anger and anxiety from students and from protesters who remain here on campus. This encampment is right behind me. This is exactly where we probably saw the worst violence that we have seen since this encampment has been on campus. And some of that anger and some of that anxiety has to do with the response, with police showing up when they did and dividing the protesters and the counter-protesters when they did. This all started, what you're seeing on screen, at about 11 o'clock last night. This came in from a student who gave some video to us as well. And counter-protesters flooded this area, anywhere from 50 to 100 of them. They tore down some of these metal and wood barriers. They used those materials to assault protesters inside. Protesters fought back. We're hearing that there were pipes used. There was fireworks that were thrown inside the encampment. There was possibly tasers and pepper spray used. And all of this is happening and going on for hours, an extreme amount of time, according to one student I spoke to, and that police arrived maybe hours later. And then when they got here, they mostly stood and watched, holding a perimeter around the encampment, sort of protecting the students that were outside of this before they intervened and divided the students who were a part of this. And so we spoke to one student about what he experienced, what he saw, the fear, palpable. Here's what he told me. Listen to this.
Group of guys coming in, and they started tearing down like wood and the gates, and just torn down flags, and started like tearing down one by one. And people started cussing each other. Things got heated. It really got violent, I'll say, for a fact. Like, I never seen this tension at all. But yeah, no, it did really got ugly.
Of course, police remain here. The mood here is much more serene than it was just a few hours ago, with the fact now that classes are canceled for the rest of the day. Ryan.
Okay, Antonia Hilton and Steve Patterson, thanks to both of you. We appreciate it. Let's talk more about this now with New York Congressman Adriano Espaillat, whose district covers Columbia University. So, Congressman, you've already called the situation last night on campus unacceptable. Explain to me what you mean by that.
Well, I think that America needs to have a conversation with its young people. It's not a sin to listen to young people. And they obviously have an opinion that must be heard. But it cannot occur in the middle of violence, vandalism, or even anti-Semitism or hatred. And so I am sure that it was a difficult decision for the school to bring stability and order back to campus. But that's where we can have a conversation and we can listen to each other, not in an atmosphere of violence or intimidation.
So then, just to be clear, Congressman, do you agree with the decision by the school and by the mayor to bring the NYPD onto campus? Do you think that was the only option they had at this point?
Well, I've been around long enough to even remember the 1960s and the legacy of Columbia, and the ability for young people to have freedom of expression is so important to democracy and our nation. But if you're creating an atmosphere of intimidation and other students feel threatened and there is violence and there is vandalism, then obviously steps must be taken to ensure that everybody is safe, including the students themselves. So that I'm sure that it was a painful decision for the administration, and I'm sure that they still committed to having students have freedom of expression, which is it's so important to democracy and our nation.
So to that end, Congressman, do you think that the administration should have done more to open a line of dialogue with these students before it got to the point where it got out of control? Did they make mistakes along the way to what we saw play out last night?
I think there was pretty much ongoing negotiations and dialogue that were fruitless and did not lead to any conclusions. And once the takeover of Hamilton Hall occurred and the way it was done, I think it left no avenue for them but to take other actions. But I encourage for there to be an ongoing dialogue with young people. They are not just the future of America, they're the present of America, but it must be done in an atmosphere of peace. Anti-Semitism cannot be all over the campus where Jewish students feel threatened and left alone. They will never be alone, and I think that a dialogue for America with its young people, it's right on time.
Okay, Congressman Adriano Espaillat, thank you so much for being here, sir. We appreciate it.